to that. I mean, is Ye potentially another Diddy here? What are we looking at?
So I actually didn't read the lawsuit because I just flew over from Tokyo yesterday, but were there videos and documentation of that, or is she just alleging that in a second lawsuit that she's filed? I'm asking seriously.
Yeah, I mean...
Can I ask a question? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go on, Mark.
Candace, and I mean this sincerely, if you read the lawsuit and it seems credible, I know you wanted to go through the legal process, but would you denounce Kanye's actions or the allegations against Kanye as morally
If there
wrong?
were ever a lawsuit as thorough, and I want to be clear, I'm the woman who stood up against the Me Too movement. I very much disagree with women dropping allegations absent any evidence and having their entire careers taken away, men having their entire careers. As much as it pained me, I stood up for Matt Lauer because I thought that what happened to him was wrong. The Diddy situation was completely different because the guy had pictures, photos, and documentation. Like I've never seen I've never seen so much evidence filed in a lawsuit in my entire life. So I have not looked at this lawsuit. I don't know if I would file this under the Me Too thing where women just make allegations and then we're supposed to believe them. I don't believe in #BelieveWomen. I'm very against that. I've been vocally against that movement from the very beginning. Did not believe Amber Heard from the very beginning. So I would have to examine that particular lawsuit. But if there was ever anything filed as strong as what was filed against Diddy, and mind you, Kanye was the one who used his platform to speak out against Diddy before it even became popular, I would, of course, be saying something about that because we're talking about an entire ring of abuse, drugs, pink cocaine. Again, these are allegations, but the pictures of the blood that he shot someone, I would be a complete hypocrite not to speak out and say, oh, well, he's my friend, so I'm totally okay if he's just shooting people in a bathroom and calling his friends to hide the evidence. I mean, I would imagine we're comparing apple to oranges, but I'm happy to be educated on that lawsuit because I haven't actually read through it.
And just, I mean, given you haven't read it, that's fair enough. How is he? Yeah, I mean, when I last interviewed him was about a year ago, and he was pretty well all over the place. He'd been accused of making a number of anti-Semitic comments, obviously. We all know about that. He's kind of disappeared off the radar a bit. How is he?
He looked great. I mean, he's lost so much weight. He looked happy and healthy, and he essentially said that he needed to get out of Los Angeles. And I completely sympathize with that because I do believe that it is a demonic town. Hollywood has always, since its founding, been a town that was established by gangs. We're talking about MGM and Paramount and the origins of Hollywood. They were bootleggers that then became directors and the owners of companies. That's just the reality. And so I do think it was healthy for him to get out of that climate and to move somewhere where you don't have paparazzi following you all the time. And, he's working on an album just by himself. And I think that isolation is good for him.
I mean, Mark, should there be forgiveness? Your response first.
I was just a little taken aback by that exchange just now. I mean, two things. One, on the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement doesn't argue and never has argued that we should prosecute people without evidence or that women can make claims without evidence. Such an argument would presume that the woman's claim itself or the woman's experience itself does not count as evidence. If you're on a date and get sexually assaulted, or you're in your bedroom and get sexually assaulted, and you go to the police and say, hey, this thing happened to me, the police would take your statement and assess it and look for more evidence. But your initial claim itself is evidence. Your witness is evidence. But if we say that women come forward and all they have is their story that they got raped and that's not evidence.
No, that's not it. No, Mark, I think you're misconstruing what Candace said, unless I'm wrong, and I share her view on this. This whole, you have to believe women, or men, by the way, who make allegations like this, I don't agree with that. Every part of my journalistic...
I don't agree with it either.
I don't agree with it either. I think the real trouble with the Me Too... Well, hang on. There were lots of good things that came out of Me Too. The real flaw with it was taking that as the principle of everyone had to be believed, whatever they were saying. Because actually, what everyone should be in that position, they should be taken seriously. It should be properly investigated by proper authorities, and justice should be seen to be done. That is how these things should be handled. Nobody should just be automatically believed, because that way is what led to a number of people getting cancelled left, right and centre, when actually it turned out, in some cases, that they just did not deserve it. And Matt Lauer, I'd say, is a good example.
Yeah, and I can't stand Matt Lauer, so it pains me to use that platform to defend him.
I think you're being very impartial
against him.
Mark.
Yeah.
I didn't misconstrue what Candace said. There's just a difference slightly between what she said and what you just said. I don't agree with either of you fully, but I think there's a thing that we all do share, which is people be lying sometimes, right? People sometimes don't tell the truth, and we shouldn't assume that people are always telling the truth. The origins of Believe Women wasn't believe all women at all times in all places. There are ways that has become the sort of almost caricature of the Me Too movement. But the idea here was that as a culture, really a rape culture, not just in the United States, but globally, we used to begin from a default assumption that women were lying. That when a woman said she was raped, the first thing we'd say is, "What were you wearing? What did you drink? You know, are you dating him? Did you say yes? How many times?" And our default position was of doubt and skepticism and rejection.
You know what I think I would say to
that? And so Believe Women begins from a place of that. But I agree with you.
Well, you shouldn't
Some
have
people lie.
You shouldn't have an instinctive.
Everybody else.
Look, you shouldn't have an instinctive disbelief of people who make allegations either. Right? I don't believe you should fully believe or disbelieve anyone who makes claims. You take them seriously. That's what people want. And they also want to feel, I mean, look, I think the same in America.
I think we're saying the same thing.
Well, in the UK and America, the number of people of convictions for rape, for example, in the UK is something like 2 or 3% of all cases that go to court end up with convictions. That's clearly ridiculous. So there are lots of flaws in this system, which Me Too highlighted, which I agree with. But I think this idea that you automatically believe people or disbelieve them, both of them are equally dangerous.